I'd like to start this talk with a question. Have you ever imagined, no, but for real, have you ever imagined, have you ever concocted these wild, unrealistic fantasies within the depths of your mind as you lay awake in the dark, unable to sleep? Have you ever thought of the impossible? Have you ever thought of achieving something so great that the world would be forced to stand back in awe and stare at you in disbelief? The truth is, yes. Yes, you have. I have. We all have. The truth is, at some stage, we've all had these delusions of grandeur, this slight vanity and egotism. Of course, I myself am better acquainted to this than most. If I'm being completely honest, even I feel like slapping myself across the face, considering the amount of nonsense that comes out of it sometimes. It also seems like digressing from the subject of my talk barely a minute in is another beautiful, beautiful quality I seem to possess, but moving on. Where was I? Right, unrealistic fantasies. Now, as I mentioned, I've been subjected to these departures from reality, these flights of thought, almost too many times to count. And amongst these departures from reality, I've come across the theme that is the utopian dreamland. A theme that has been discussed so often that it's almost become stale in its very conception. Of course, this has further drawn me into the vortex that is the dystopian worldview, and I've spent far too long heavily traumatized because I am terrified of zombies and apocalypses. But anyway, as I lie awake on my bed on those nights where sleep just doesn't seem to be able to find me, and I'm consumed by my thoughts and ponderings, I wonder what it would be like if everything just stopped. What if all of that, every source of human power and creativity just ended? What if we reached the pinnacle of societal and human evolution? What if we reached the end of revolution? What if we reached the epitome of societal and functional existence? What would this entail exactly? You see, on the surface, the idea seems almost perfect. Beautiful even, but if one were to examine the intricacies of the mindset of us humans, then they would find a severe lack of need, of a will to create. And where there's no creation, there's no invention. And where there's no invention, there's stagnation. And when stagnation occurs, humanity begins to rot. For human wants are infinite, and when the ability to satisfy that want is unavailable, when the need to innovate has disappeared, chaos ensues. When there's no progress in terms of societal status or cultural advancement, we begin to express dissatisfaction, an emotion that slowly but surely turns to rage. And as rage takes over, we all know, logic is left behind. And when logic is left behind, there's no driving force, no ideology to back, no wrongs to right. There remains nothing but that primitive animalistic behavior that we've repressed and contained for so long. And that world, that society, crumbles. And this finally brings me to what I'm here to speak to you about today. Now, the utopian situation I gave to you earlier is purely hypothetical. It's a situation in which mankind has nowhere left to go, nowhere left to grow. It's almost as if we've pelted headfirst down the roads of progress, only to come to a rather full, abrupt stop at the edge of a cliff that oversees an endless expanse into this dark spiral of nothingness, into this future marred by chaos, by destruction and madness. But you see, ladies and gentlemen, I can assure you that this future will never come to pass. Okay, it probably won't come to pass. Hopefully. Because you see, due to humanity's incessant need of driving forward, of reaching the pinnacle of, well, everything, this future just may be plausible. Plausible because in the example I gave you, it is very easy to note that humanity has reached the top. We climbed the big, bad mountain of evolution and laid our flag on its highest point. But what we failed to realize, what we failed to take into account, was the descent. Every mountain rises and falls, and once you reach the top, there is nowhere to go but down into that future marred by destruction and madness. And the only way I can see, the only way to ensure that this never comes to pass, that this never happens, to me, the only way is infinite revolution. Endless rebirth and recreation, the rise and fall of communities and empires. You see, the thing about humanity is that it just can't sit still. It can never stop. You see, amongst those whimsical imaginings and those flights of thought, I've come to the conclusion that we can do anything. The only problem lies in how we perceive the world around us. You see, unfortunately, our current generation, or we can imagine and want and we can hope and we can dream, but we can't ever get off our couch to actually do anything. We are quick to give up, quick to say that it's impossible. And believe me, I'm most definitely part of this problem myself. You see, I can't even get off the couch to go get myself something to eat because I think it's too much work. You see, I stop and I give up whenever I see too many walls preventing me from getting what I want. Because look at it this way. How can an average Indian boy or girl from the city of Hyderabad get into a top-tier university, write a book, join the United Nations, invent the next big thing, change the world? What are the odds? 7.9 billion to 1, essentially. But this is also exactly why I want to address this issue here. Because what people today don't seem to realize is that we need to climb those walls, or if not, break through them. Because it's almost as if with every generation, humans are getting lazier and lazier and lazier and lazier. And well, that doesn't really seem to promote creation, does it? Because revolution is essential, and revolution is a necessity. Rebirth is our past, and rebirth is our future. And rebirth is humanity's endgame. The Industrial Revolution, the French Revolution, the American Wars for Independence, the Latin American Wars for Independence, these are just conventional examples of a complete overturn of societal hierarchies. The Indian freedom movement, the civil rights movement in the United States of America, revolutionizing society, providing progress and a future to humanity. Of course, there are those that would argue that all change does, all revolution does, is incite disorder, violence, war, death, destruction. The French Revolution itself could be taken as a prudent example of this. It's the ideal pursuit, the pursuit of an ideal world for the common man, falling into effective chaos. The French Revolution could be stated to be one bloody, messy failure, but I couldn't agree with that. I mean, not the bloody, messy part, but why I can't call the French Revolution a failure is because of what it led to. Liberty, equality, fraternity, freedom, democracy, progress. You see, the failure of a revolution led to an upheaval on an unprecedented scale. So was it even really a failure? The answer, to me at least, is no. Because to me, if humans never sought out change, monarchies would still control us. Subjugation and suppression on an even larger scale than it is seen in today's society would run rampant. You see, humans have to keep on moving and keep on changing. And that is exactly why revolution is so essential. Because revolution never stops. There is no end to innovation, no end to growth, no end to the pursuit of the future, to the very tip of that mountain, but never quite reaching its very top, its pinnacle. So chaos? Yes. Disorder? Yes. But such is the manner in which humanity functions. There is no pure perfection. There is no complete flawlessness. You see, humanity keeps on moving. And I've said this continuously throughout this talk. Humanity keeps on moving. And as such, we can never stop. Because growth will never end, and humanity will continue to move forward. And what we need to realize is that chaos is essential. But not just any chaos. Chaos with a purpose, chaos with an objective. Chaos in search of improvement and a better society. Structured chaos, rather than mindless rebellion, purposeless violence and bloodshed. Unstructured chaos. You see, the only way in which humanity is going to move forward is through the production of this structured chaos. The production of revolution rather than rebellion. Change based on the need for a better society rather than change based on mindless rage and misconstrued anger. You see, to me, there's a humongous difference between revolution and rebellion. They're two entirely different organisms fed by two entirely different forms of idea and thought. Rebellion is the product of anger, yes. Rage, yes. But it is an anger with nowhere to go, no manner through which it can be productively expressed. You see, rebellion has no clear end goal and results in mindless rage and violence, action taken against the system with no idea on how to actually improvement. And that's exactly how revolution is its opposite. Because revolution always has a clear goal. Yes, it may be pursued because of rage or violence or anger or disorder, but it always has that clear goal. Revolution is the hope for a better society, a vision for a better future. And that's exactly why I can't say that it or change results in nothing but disaster or, disorder, because it paves the way for humanity. It paves the way to the future. It aids in this constant innovation and creation. It aids in the betterment of human society. And I'll keep on repeating this. Keep on regurgitating the same old thing again and again and again and again, because it's so very important. Because it's almost as if this generation of humans is forgetting how to strive and struggle and fall and get hurt and go through pain and hardship in order to get what they want, what they need. It's almost as if they're forgetting the beauty of change, of transformation, of a better society. It's almost as if they're beginning to stagnate, to become complacent. You see, you're going to fall and slip and slide down that mountain, but it is your duty to get back up, to dig your fingernails into cold, hard, unforgiving rock and move and claw your way upward and never, ever stop. Of course, procrastination is allowed because, 5 extra minutes does sort of help in mentally preparing you for these endless struggles and all that. But I apologize. It's like I said, digressing from the topic of what I'm talking about. It's almost like I'm a professional. But anyway, moving on and bringing this talk to what I hope is an appropriate close, because you see, it's so important, at least to me. See, we can never let this constancy stop. Humanity is going to keep on moving and keep on creating and keep on innovating. See, this revolution and this future of humanity does not only rest upon the shoulders of this current, brilliant, lazy generation, but it is also so very reliant on this infinite revolution. Because we can never let this stop. That is exactly what I've learned. We can never bring this constancy to a halt. Revolution must find its way into every generation, into every millennium, into every waking moment. From now until the sun implodes and humanity ceases to exist. From now until the very edges of our tiny human visions of infinity. And maybe, just maybe, even beyond it. Thank you.